Stories of Journey to the West, Chapter 24.
We're jumping straight into Journey to the West today, specifically Chapter 24.
That's right. A really interesting section.
It's all about an encounter at a place called Wuzhuangguan.
And it comes after the pilgrims have been through some really rough patches, dangerous landscape, monsters.
Yeah, and suddenly they find themselves on this mountain that just seems peaceful, almost idyllic.
It's a huge contrast, and that's kind of our starting point, this place, Wanshushan, the mountain of longevity.
Wanshushan, okay. And the Tang monk, he's been through a lot, obviously, and he sees this beautiful scenery. The text says he really noticed how different it was.
Oh, definitely. The descriptions are quite vivid. It mentions high and precipitous peaks, a grand and majestic scene.
And dragons' roars and tigers' howls echo, cranes dance, and monkeys cry. It paints quite a picture, doesn't it? Really alive.
It really does. You get these great names, too, for the peaks, like Thousand-Year Peak, Five Blessings Peak, Hibiscus Peak.
And the stones. 10,000-year stone, tiger tooth stone. It feels very specific, very real almost.
Yeah, it grounds the place, gives it this ancient, timeless quality.
And so Pang Zhenzeng, the master, he sees all this beauty, and you can understand why. He's relieved after all the danger. He actually hopes it means they're getting close.
He gets his hopes up, yeah. Thinks maybe, just maybe, the land temple nearby.
But Sun Wukong, he immediately brings him back down to earth.
He does. Just
Yes.
states very plainly, nope, we're still incredibly far away.
It really highlights their different perspectives, doesn't it? Pang Zhenzeng focusing on the beautiful moment right now.
And Sun Wukong just laser focused on the ultimate goal, the distance still to cover.
Which naturally leads Shamunk to ask the obvious question.
The big one. Okay, exactly how far is the land temple?
And Wukong's answer is just staggering.
It really is. He says, Chad, 108,000 live. That's a traditional Chinese measure of distance, and it's vast.
108,000.
And then he adds that they haven't even covered 1/10 of it yet.
Oh, wow. Not even close. So poor Pigsy then asks, well, how long is that going to take?
Right, the practical question. And Sun Wukong gives a kind of breakdown.
How so?
He estimates that his brothers, Shamunk and Pigsy, they might take about 10 days, maybe.
Yeah.
Flying, presumably.
Okay.
For himself, with his incredible speed, he says he could make 50 trips a day and still see the sun. I mean, basically implying even he can't just zip there and back instantly. It's that far.
But for Tang Zhang.
Well, for the master, he's much more vague.
Yeah.
He just implies it would be incredibly long, extremely difficult, doesn't even put a number on it.
So Tang Zhang asks him directly, when can we expect to arrive? He wants a real answer.
And this is where Sun Wukong's reply gets really interesting. It kind of shifts things.
What does he say?
He says something like, even if you live through countless cycles of youth and old age, master, it would still be hard.
Whoa. So it's not just about the physical miles anymore.
Exactly. It feels like he's moving beyond just distance.
Huh.
He suggests it's about the internal effort involved.
Oh, okay.
And then he gives this deeper, more sort of philosophical answer. He says, reaching the land temple, Linshan, it really depends on your inner nature, your true devotion.
Your sincerity.
Yes. And then he says something fascinating. The destination, enlightenment, is found wherever you sincerely turn your mind towards it.
So the destination isn't just a place on a map, it's also a state of mind.
Precisely. That feels like a really key moment.
That's a huge shift. So, okay, back to the mountain. Shamunk then points out, look, even if this isn't Lingshan, Wanshu Mountain is so beautiful, there must be someone good living here.
Yeah, good observation. He figures such a pure place must have a virtuous inhabitant.
And Sun Wukong agrees.
He does. He confirms there are no evil spirits around. He senses that. And he anticipates finding, a sage or an immortal.
So they decide to just take their time, enjoy it.
Yeah, travel leisurely for a bit.
Yeah.
So you end up with this really powerful contrast in the chapter. Between the immediate beauty, this lovely respite they've found, and the absolutely immense journey still ahead.
And the different ways of seeing that journey, literal distance versus this deeper internal path.
Right. The physical versus the spiritual, you could say.
That aha moment then is really realizing Thunderclap Monastery might be less about geography and more about achieving a certain inner state.
So they get there, and the mountain's called Wanshu Mountain Blessing Ground, Wuzhuang Temple Cave Heaven. Sounds amazing, right? Very grand.
Incredibly auspicious, yeah. It makes you think, doesn't it? Is Wukong standing there, comparing them?
It feels like it. Like maybe a flicker of that old pride, the Monkey King remembering his own domain.
Yeah.
Flower Fruit Mountain Blessing Ground.
Hmm.
Water Curtain Cave Heaven.
Exactly. It's subtle, but it hints at his past, maybe some tension with who he is now versus who he was.
Definitely. And then they get to the actual temple gate, and there's that couplet.
Oh yeah, the spring couplet. Long life and never old immortals residence.
Coeval with heaven, Taoist family, big claims.
Huge. And Wukong's reaction is just, well, it's pure Wukong, isn't it?
Totally. He just laughs.
Calls it talking big, right? Even throws in a comment about his own troublemaking in heaven. It really shows he's not easily impressed.
No, he's seen it all, or thinks he has. Grand titles don't mean much to him after, turning heaven upside down.
It's like he's already suspicious, or at least amused by the pretension.
Exactly. Which contrasts really nicely with Zubaji. Oh, Pigsy. Yeah, what does he say?
He's much more down to earth. Basically, all right, let's go in. Maybe this Taoist actually has something worthwhile.
Always practical, isn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe hoping for a good meal or something.
Probably. So, okay, they go inside.
They meet the caretakers. 2 young Taoist boys.
That's right. King Feng and Ming Yu. Clear Wind and Bright Moon. Great names. Very poetic. And they're described as looking pretty special, too. Clear of bone and spirit with beautiful countenances.
And their clothes sound amazing. Taoist robes naturally draped in mist, feather garments with sleeves that fluttered in the breeze, almost otherworldly. Their master, the great immortal Zen Yuanzi, he's actually away.
Away? Where'd he go?
He got an invitation from Yuanji Tianzun, a really top-level deity, to go listen to lectures.
Lectures.
Yeah.
Sounds important.
Very. They're about something called the Hunyuan Dao fruit, up in the Miluo Palace in Chongqing Heaven. Just getting invited tells you Zhen Yuanzi is seriously high-ranking.
Okay, Hunyuan Dao fruit sounds profound, like maybe ultimate Taoist knowledge or something.
That's probably the implication, yeah. Something fundamental. But before leaving, Zhen Yuanzi told the boys, King Feng and Ming Yu, to expect an old friend.
An old friend.
Yeah, and to give this friend 2 very special fruits when he arrives. And guess who the friend is?
Has to be the Tang monk.
Bingo. Which leads us to these fruits. The ginseng fruits.
Right. The Hu Hunjin Gum. Tell us about these. They sound like they're a big deal.
Oh, they are. The text goes out of its way to say they're not just any fruit. They formed right at the dawn of creation, basically.
Wow. Okay. Primordial fruit.
Exactly. When chaos first separated, before heaven and earth were opened. And it says this spiritual root, this tree, only exists here at Wuzhuangguan, nowhere else in the entire continent.
So super rare.
Incredibly rare. And the time it takes for them to grow, it's just staggering.
Yeah, I saw that. 3,000 years just to flower.
Right. Then another 3,000 to bear fruit.
And another 3,000 before they ripen.
And wait, there's more. Another 1,000 years before they're actually ready to be eaten.
So that's 10,000 years total.
10,000 years. And in that whole time, the tree only produces 30 fruits. Just 30.
That's insane. Does that make them more powerful somehow, the long wait?
Well, the rarity definitely makes them precious. But the text ties their power directly to their effects, which stem from this long cultivation of spiritual energy, you could say.
And they look weird too, right?
Very weird, like tiny babies. Just like a newborn infant of 3 days old, complete with 4 limbs and all 5 sensory organs. It's a really vivid, maybe slightly creepy image.
Definitely memorable. Okay, so what do they do?
Get this. Just smelling one adds 360 years to your life.
Just smelling it. Okay.
And if you eat one,
Yeah.
47,000 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
47,000 years. That's basically an elixir of life.
Pretty much, yeah, in fruit form, which tells you how much Zen Yuanzi must value this old friend to offer him 2 of these.
So why is Tang monk considered an old friend? They seem worlds apart, a Buddhist monk and this ancient Taoist immortal.
Ah, well, Zen Yuanzi explains it to the boys. Turns out, Tang monk isn't just any monk. He's the reincarnation of Jin Chanzi.
Jin Chanzi, the golden cicada.
The very same,
Yeah.
who was the second disciple of the Buddha himself.
No way. Okay, that changes things.
Right. And apparently, about 500 years before this, back when Tang monk was still Jin Chanzi, they met.
They met where?
At something called the Lampin Festival. And Jin Chanzi personally served tea to Zen Yuanzi.
He served him tea, so there's a history there, a direct connection.
A significant one. It bridges that gap between Taoism and Buddhism, at least for them.
But the young disciples, King Feng and Ming Yu, they were surprised, weren't they?
Yeah, they even quote Confucius. Something like, different paths don't make plans together. Eat.
Okay.
But Zen Yuanzi basically tells them, no, we go way back. It overcomes that sort of doctrinal separation.
Interesting. But even with this connection, Zhen Yuanzi is worried about trouble, right?
He is. He specifically warns the boys to be careful.
Eh,
Says, you need to guard against his followers making a scene, especially Wukong. Tells them not to stir things up.
definitely sounds like foreshadowing. Trouble ahead.
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
It shows that even here, in this blessed place, the pilgrims themselves, well, they bring their own chaos, don't they?
They really do. And Tang San Zhang goes to offer incense. Standard procedure.
But then he stops. He notices something
Yeah.
off.
Yes. The altar setup. He's surprised because the usual big names aren't there. No 3 purities, no 4 emperors, none of the major Taoist deities you'd expect.
Which, for anyone familiar, is like walking into a major church and finding none of the usual saints or figures represented. It's weird.
Very weird. Instead, the inscription just honors heaven and earth. That's it.
Just 2 big characters. Heaven and earth.
Yeah.
Tenny. That's it. Super unconventional. So naturally, Tang Sanzang asks about it.
And the young disciple, Min Yu, gives this explanation that's just, wow.
One.
He says, well, heaven, yeah, that's worthy of respect. But earth, nah, not worthy of their incense.
Okay, already pretty bold.
But then he adds that this whole practice is actually a kind of flattery for their master.
Flattery. How does that work?
Well, according to Mingyu, their master is basically pals with the 3 purities.
This friends, yeah.
Old acquaintances with the 4 emperors, the 9 luminaries are his juniors.
Juniors.
And the Yuan Chen are just like lower guests. Basically, his master is so incredibly important, he outranks almost the entire celestial bureaucracy. Only heaven is above him.
That is audacious.
Yeah.
It says a lot about how these disciples see their master. Maybe a little bit of reflected glory or just arrogance.
Could be either, or both. And Sun Wukong's reaction to hearing all this.
Oh, I bet he loved that.
He burst out laughing, apparently laughed so hard he fell over.
I can just picture it. What did he say?
Something brilliant. Only I, your old son, know how to make mischief, but this Taoist child knows how to tie up the wind.
Huh. It's like he's almost impressed by the sheer nerve of the kids bragging.
Exactly. A kind of grudging respect for the boldness, maybe. So amidst all this, Tang Sanzang, trying to stay focused, asks where this incredibly important master actually is.
Right, good question. If he's so great, where is he?
And the disciple says, oh, he's been invited by the primordial heavenly venerable himself
Of course he has.
to the Miro Palace in the upper pure heaven to listen to lectures on the primordial Dao fruit. Very grand, very important sounding.
Sounds legit, I guess. But Wukong doesn't buy it, does he?
Not for a second. He just erupts, calls the kid a smelly Taoist child,
Ouch, Trecht.
and basically challenges him. Like, who even lives in the Miro Palace? The Tai heavenly immortal. What makes you think they'd invite some clumsy ox-hoofed creature like your master to lecture?
Wow, okay, so Wukong is just calling BS loudly and rudely. No respect there.
None at all. He sees it as pure posturing, and he hates that. You can really feel the temperature rising.
Definitely. Wukong's clearly not buying the hype. But Tang Monk, bless him, tries to keep the peace.
Always the diplomat. What does he do?
Tells his disciples, let's just get some food ready, offer some money for firewood, be good guests. He clearly wants to avoid any problems.
Mingyu and King Feng, they seem almost relieved that the disciples weren't immediately brought in with the monk.
Totally relieved. They use this phrase, basically calling them ferocious and rough. So right off the bat, there's this preconceived notion, this expectation of trouble from the disciples.
Yeah, it sets up a real contrast. They're wary of the disciples, but their interaction with the Tang monk himself, it's super formal, polite.
It's deferential, yeah. They double-check his identity, offer tea.
Mhm.
It's all very proper, very traditional welcome. But you can feel that undercurrent of caution.
What do you make of that formality mixed with fear?
Well, I think they're trying to follow their master's orders regarding the monk, who's clearly respected. But they're also hedging their bets because they've probably been warned about his companions. It's a tricky situation for these young acolytes.
Makes sense. Okay, so after the tea, they bring out the main event, the fruit, and the way they handle it.
Oh, yeah, it's a whole ritual. They use this special golden implement, the shi.
Right, and a jade plate lined with silk, even extra silk padding underneath.
Exactly. All that careful handling, it just screams, this is incredibly valuable and maybe fragile.
It signals its importance in their world, definitely. And then you get the Tang monk's reaction, which is not what they expected.
Not at all. He's completely shocked, horrified even, because, well, the fruit looks exactly like.
Like tiny babies, unweaned infants, the text says. Wow, yeah.
Yeah. And his reaction is pure moral outrage. Like, are you barbarians eating people?
It's such a clear clash of values, isn't it? His Buddhist reverence for all life hitting up against this, well, this bizarre Taoist treasure.
Absolutely. And the acolytes, they don't get it. They just think he's, a bit ignorant.
Yeah, they mutter to themselves about his
Mortalized, basically. Can't recognize celestial treasures. So they see it as his limitation, not their offering being weird. It shows that huge gap between the mortal world and this, immortal magical realm.
They do try to explain, look, it grows on a tree.
But the monk's not having it,
Yeah.
he says. Nonsense. He just cannot wrap his head around a tree producing food that looks like that.
Again, that divide. What's miraculous for them is just unbelievable and wrong for him.
So the monk flat out refuses, which leaves the acolytes with these two very unique fruits.
And then we learn something important. The fruit doesn't last long.
Right. Juice can't be kept long or it'll stiffen up and become inedible, adds a bit of urgency.
So they can't just save them. Disappointed, they decide, well, guess we'll eat them ourselves.
Yeah, they sneak off to their room to eat one each.
Yeah.
And crucially, their room is right next to the kitchen.
Enter Pigsy. Always near the kitchen.
Of course. He's there, and he overhears the whole thing about the golden implement and the fancy plate earlier. The text says he'd already clocked it.
He's got a nose for trouble, especially food-related trouble.
Definitely. And hearing them talk about this fruit, maybe hearing them, eating it, his legendary appetite kicks in.
Jack, his mouth couldn't help but water. Classic Pigsy.
So what does he do? He immediately goes to find Sun Wukong.
Naturally. Gotta get the expert involved. He tries to butter him up, right? Playing on Wukong's ego.
Totally. He's like, hey, old son, you've traveled everywhere, seen everything back in the day when you were seeking immortality.
Surely you've seen fruit like this before. The line is,
But Wukong, surprisingly, seems genuinely taken aback. He says he's actually never seen this specific, this ginseng fruit.
which is saying something, given Wukong's travels.
It really is.
Yeah.
But he has heard of it. He knows its other name, the herbal elixir, and he knows about its legendary life-extending powers. So Wukong might be impulsive, but he's not ignorant of these things.
He knows it's something special. Meanwhile, Pigsy's probably exaggerating how good it was when the acolytes ate it.
Oh, definitely. Laying it on thick, emphasizing how much he wants some now.
And Wukong, ever the show-off, basically says,
Easy peasy. Old son will just go grab some, no problem.
Eh.
Classic Wukong confidence.
But Pigsy, surprisingly, urges a bit of caution. He mentions the inchemy, that golden implement, and tells him to be sneaky.
Yeah, even Pigsy gets that stealing this particular thing might be a bad idea if they get caught. A rare moment of self-preservation, maybe.
Maybe. So Wukong's like, all right, challenge accepted. He uses his invisibility spell, the fifth,
Sneaks into the acolyte's room looking for that implement.
and he finds it hanging on the window lattice. The description's pretty detailed, 2 feet long, red gold, garlic-shaped head, green tassel. Sounds specific.
It does. Maybe it has some specific property related to the fruit. Anyway, Wukong doesn't stop there. His curiosity gets the better of him.
Right, he pushes open some doors and finds himself in this absolutely incredible garden.
The description is just lush. Yeah, red railings, precious balustrades, winding paths, little artificial hills. It's like a perfect miniature paradise.
Exotic flowers, emerald bamboo, pavilions like the flowing wine pavilion, moon-gazing terrace, just listing all these beautiful, rare plants. It feels completely otherworldly.
It really does. It speaks to the Taoists' mastery over nature, maybe. Their ability to create this perfect, harmonious space. A huge contrast to the, rough world outside.
And then, right after this stunning, almost divine garden, he finds another gate. And behind it,
A vegetable patch.
yeah, just like regular vegetables. Spinach, chard, ginger, garlic.
It's quite the shift, isn't it? From sublime beauty to, practical farming. It kind of grounds the whole place, shows they're self-sufficient, engaged with both the high-level cultivation and just, growing dinner.
So Wukong keeps going, and finally, through another set of gates, he finds it. The tree.
The ginseng fruit tree. And it's immense. Hundreds of feet tall, trunk-like, requires several people to circle it, leaves like banana leaves.
And then he sees the fruit hanging there, and the description again emphasizes how much it looks like a little child.
Eerily lifelike. Moving limbs, a little stem at the back, looks like it's waving and nodding in the breeze. You can totally see why the Tang monk freaked out earlier.
Wukong, though, he's thrilled. Oh, good stuff. Truly rare.
He knows exactly what it is now. And being Wukong,
He wants one. Now, he grabs that golden implement, the chat,
climbs up, gives a fruit a tap. It falls.
and disappears. Poof, gone.
He searches the ground. Nothing. He's baffled. Strange. Strange.
His first thought, someone must have stolen it. But who?
Wu, who's always around in gardens. The local earth god, the Vitudi.
And Wukong immediately assumes the earth god snatched it. He even calls himself the Itada, the most famous thief under heaven.
Huh. Yeah, he basically says, how dare anyone steal something when I'm around? He lists his own famous heists, the peaches, the imperial wine, the elixir pills. His ego is massive.
But the poor earth god is terrified. He completely denies it.
And says, no way. This is Seuss stuff belonging to earth immortals. I'm just a lowly Yuet, a ghost immortal. I wouldn't dare touch it.
What's that distinction about earth immortals versus ghost immortals?
It's like a hierarchy. Earth immortals are powerful, achieved beings tied to specific sacred places on earth. Ghost immortals are generally considered lower, maybe more like nature spirits or guardians of smaller areas. The point is, the fruit is way above the earth god's pay grade.
Got it. So the earth god then spills the beans about the fruit's real properties.
And it's mind-blowing. Flowers every 3,000 years, fruits another 3,000, ripens for 3,000 more. It takes almost 10,000 years for just 30 fruits.
Wow.
And the effects. Smell it, live 360 years longer, eat one, 47,000 years of longevity.
Okay, that is a celestial treasure. No wonder it's so guarded.
Exactly. But then the earth god explains the catch, its weakness, the 5 elements.
Right. Falls to gold, withers with wood, dissolves in water, burns with fire.
And enters the earth, which is exactly what happened when Wukong knocked it down with the golden metal gold element implement. It just sank into the ground.
That whole 5 elements thing, that feels very Taoist, doesn't it? Connecting this magic fruit back to the basic forces of their cosmology?
Absolutely. It grounds the magic in their understanding of how the universe works. So the earth god explains the proper way. Use gold to knock it down, but you must catch it on silk. And to eat it, dissolve it in water in a porcelain dish.
He even shows Wukong how dense the soil is, basically proving it's impossible to dig the fruit out.
So Wukong's like, okay, got it. Light bulb moment.
New plan. He climbs back up, golden implement in one hand.
And uses his robe, held open, to catch the fruit this time.
Smart monkey.
And it works. He successfully knocks down and catches 3 of them.
3. And then he actually thinks of Shamunk. Can't forget Shamunk.
A rare moment of consideration. He decides to share them equally. One for him, one for Pigsy, one for Shamunk.
Back in the room, Pigsy gets his and just inhales it.
He gulps it down whole. Doesn't even taste it.
And then immediately asks the others what it tasted like.
Oh, Pigsy. Then he demands more, of course. His greed is just bottomless.
Do you think that serves a purpose? Like, symbolically? His constant hunger?
I think so. It really highlights those earthly desires, the attachments that Buddhism, and even Taoism to some extent, seeks to overcome. He's often the comic relief, but he also represents that struggle with base instincts.
Makes sense. Wukong gives him a reality check, basically says, dude, this stuff is incredibly rare. Be grateful you got one.
Wise words. But then as they're leaving the scene of the crime, Wukong does one last sneaky thing.
He throws the golden implement back into the acolyte's room.
Yep. Covers his tracks, but also kind of ensures that trouble will follow, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's like leaving a calling card. Pigsy being Pigsy, he's wishing out loud he could have another one.
Oh, Pigsy. Not exactly subtle.
Not at all. And you can bet the Taoist boys, King Feng and Ming Yu, probably heard that. It definitely puts them on edge.
So they start getting suspicious.
Well, that, plus they find this little clue. A gold hammer, used for harvesting the fruit, is found dropped just outside the disciples' room.
Ah, the plot thickens. A dropped clue.
It's a small detail, but it's enough. It makes the boys think, hang on a minute. But then they do a proper count in the orchard, and they realize 4 gone, and their immediate conclusion, theft. And they blame Tang Monk.
They're Tang Monk. He refused them in the first place.
I know, but the boys are furious. They've lost this incredibly valuable fruit, and they just let loose on him. The language they use is really harsh, insulting.
Like what?
Things like bald front, bald back, directly attacking his identity as a monk. It shows just how angry they are. They're not holding back.
Yikes. And Tang Monk's reaction?
He's completely bewildered. He insists, again, I was scared of them. I didn't touch them. He genuinely has no idea what's happened.
But the boys aren't buying it?
No. So they shift their focus. If not the master, then the disciples. Tang Zhang is, of course, horrified by the accusation, calls his disciples over immediately.
And Shamong pipes up, right? The sensible one.
Yeah, Sha Wujing is immediately worried, says something like, uh-oh, this young Taoist is cursing recklessly, this could mean trouble. He sees the danger.
He's the early warning system. Meanwhile, Wukong's reaction is...
Try to cover it up. He says, look, it's just food. Let's not make a big deal. If we admit it, it looks like we were sneaking snacks. Just deny it.
Huh. So his first instinct is deny, deny, deny.
And Zubaji is instantly on board. Yep, deny everything.
Of course he is. Okay, so the disciples are summoned. Tang Zhang confronts them, asks about eating some ginseng food, something that looks like a baby, and Pigsy puts on his best innocent act. Ginseng fruit. Never heard of it. Looks like a baby. Nope. Definitely doesn't eat anything like that.
Such a bad liar. And Wukong, who is probably trying so hard to keep a straight face,
He tracks up.
he just bursts out laughing at Baji's terrible acting.
Oh, no. That's not going to help.
Not at all. King Feng, the other disciple, points right at him. See? He's laughing. He's guilty.
And Wukong's response, still defiant.
Totally defiant. Hey, I was born smiling. Your fruit goes missing doesn't mean I can't laugh. Tough luck. Something like that.
Just pure Wukong arrogance and refusal to be cornered.
Absolutely. And poor Tang Sanzang is trying to be the adult in the room.
Trying to mediate.
Yeah, reminding them they're monks. They shouldn't lie, shouldn't steal. Says, if you did eat it, just apologize, make it right. Trying to de-escalate.
A reasonable approach. Does it work?
Well, sort of. Wukong finally confesses.
Progress.
He spins this tale about how Pigsy overheard the disciples eating the fruit, got curious, and pestered Wukong until he agreed to go steal some. Claims he only stole 3. 1 for him, 1 for Baji, 1 for Sha Monk. Mingyu jumps in. No! 4 were stolen, not 3.
4. Oh.
And Zubaji, hearing this, immediately forgets the denial and shouts, hey, wait, 4 fruits are missing, but you only said you took 3.
Implying
Monkey King might have kept 1 for himself.
Oh, Pigsy. He just incriminated himself further.
Completely. And now the 2 young disciples are absolutely furious. It's just devolved into this squabble over numbers and fairness.
And Wukong. How's he feeling now?
He's getting angry, really angry. The text mentions his clenched jaw, his glaring eyes. He wants to smack them with his staff.
You can feel that temper rising.
He holds back initially, but then he thinks, right, that's it. Time for revenge. He comes up with a plan described as a plan to end it all so none of them can eat anymore.
Whoa, okay. End it all sounds drastic. This isn't just about getting even for the accusation anymore, is it?
Seems like it's escalated beyond that in his mind. It's about the disrespect, the whole situation. So what does he do?
His usual trick.
Plucks a hair, makes a clone of himself to stay behind and take the heat from Tang Sanzang.
Smart. Buys himself time.
While his real self zooms off on a cloud straight to the ginseng fruit garden.
Okay, so he's going back to the source. Is he going to steal more? Or
Oh, much worse than that. He gets there, sees the tree, and just attacks it.
attacks the tree with his staff?
With his golden hoop staff, whacks it hard, then uses incredible strength to just push the whole thing over.
She destroys the tree.
Completely. Roots torn out, branches broken, leaves scattered. The text even says he kind of laments losing the grass-returning elixir.
Yeah.
This magical fruit. It's pure destruction.
Ah, that's incredibly impulsive.
And excessive.
Totally excessive. It's pure rage taking over. And interestingly, no fruit is found on the broken branches.
The text explains that the fruit is so magical, it falls off if it touches metal gold. Gold specifically counts and then sinks into the earth. So Wukong's golden-tipped staff knocked them all off and made them disappear into the ground.
So in his destructive rage, he actually achieved his goal of making sure no one could eat them.
Pretty much, yeah. Though maybe unintentionally that specific way. And he's satisfied. He says, good, good, good. Let's call it even.
Even? By destroying a priceless ancient magic tree, only Wukong would think that's even.
It tells you everything about his sense of justice, doesn't it? So he grabs his staff, recalls his clone, and slips back unnoticed.
Wow, that is quite the escalation. From stealing a few fruits to destroying this unique ancient tree.
It really is. A moment of anger, fueled by accusations and maybe a bit of wounded pride, leads to this irreversible act.